However, during the war, after a few months actually, this initial enthusiasm disappeared and was replaced by disillusionment. Why this happened? Well, actually because the number of deaths along the front increased. Every day there were numbers growing and growing and growing. And it was clear to British people's minds that the war was nothing but a slaughter, un massacro. And it is important to say that it was not only a physical slaughter, so there was not only people dying there because of weapons, because of wounds, but also psychologically they were wounded. They had obsessions and terror, and everything is called with this name, shell shock. The shell shock. Shell is granate, quindi lo shock delle granate, lo shock tipico che colpiva questi militari al fronte. Today, probably, we call this post-traumatic shock, uno shock post-traumatico, PTS si chiama proprio in termine specifico. At the time, it was called shell shock. And so in order to convince, to persuade people, the government started this strong propaganda politics, using press, using posters. There were a lot of propaganda posters during this time in order to encourage people, to persuade them to continue fighting and to believing into the war as a patriotic duty. Conscription was introduced for all men age of 1841. Conscription è il servizio di leva, quindi qualcosa di obbligatorio che andava fatto. Quindi la differenza tra volunteers at the beginning, conscription was not something that people voluntarily did, but they were obliged to join the army. Okay, and this third point is something persuading because it is meaningful. The king, that at the time was George V, decided to change his surname from Hanover, which sounded too German if you think, into a more English surname, Windsor. And this is the reason why today the Queen is a Windsor. Actually, the origin was German, if you can see. However, the king decided to change his surname to show to his people that he was strongly believing into Britain and into England. The government, however, wasn't always honest about the war, because it used the so-called reported war. With this term, we mean una guerra riportata, nel senso non un racconto onesto e realistico, diciamo, di quello che stava succedendo al fronte, ma alcuni dettagli venivano omessi. Because the government only wanted to give positive news to the civilians. They only wanted to show the positive aspects of war. However, we have a true account of the war, of the front especially, thanks to war poets. These group of poets honestly told the horrors of the battles and the split between the soldiers and the high command. And even if some of them were pro-war, others were openly against the war, and they wanted to denounce its tragedies and nightmares especially. And we have two war poets on comparison here. We have a pro-war poet Rupert Brooke and the against-war poet Wilfred Owen. Well, on the left, we have Brooke, which was a very beautiful young man. He died only when he was 28, and he described the war in his sonnets as clean and cleansing, quindi qualcosa che purificava anche, ragazzi. Cleansing. He tried to testify the safeness of war, in which the only thing that suffers is the body, and even death is seen as a reward. This poet embodied the idea of romanticism. Dying for war, dying for your country is your duty and is an honor. Quindi vedete, è addirittura un premio la morte. Tu muori per la tua nazione. Sei un eroe. On the other hand, on the right side, we have an against war, a con-war poet, Owen. Even if he was very young when he died, he talked about the war with very honest eyes. And he talks about his poetry in this way. This is not a book about heroes. So, openly against Rupert. Nor is it about deeds, azioni, land, nor anything about glory, honor, mighty, majesty, dominion, or power, except war. My subject is war and the pity of war. Quindi lui parla solo della guerra e di quanto sia brutta la guerra. Quindi non ha niente a che fare con eroismo, dominio, onore, gloria. Only war. War. So we're going to study now what is more persuasive, propaganda or poetry. We will work together on different types of communication during World War I. Poetry on one side and propaganda on the other. We'll analyze it, we'll study it, and we'll decide what is more persuasive.